Hello my friends, it's the Game Boy Geek here, and today you'll be taking on the roles of demigods who look to claim the right to stand among the gods as an equal. You'll be selecting heroes that will be completing quests for you, strengthening you with powers. Now they'll be out earning gold to buy weapons, armor, and artifacts, and then they'll be taking that into an arena to engage in combat. There'll only be one standing at the center, and if that champion is yours, you'll be elevated to godhood. Theosis is for 2 to 6 players, takes 90 minutes to 2 hours to play, is ages 14 and up, and is published by Dreamcraft Games. It's on Kickstarter right now, so I'm going to show you how the game works, and then I'll see you on the other side. This is a Kickstarter preview, so all the components you see here are prototype, and the art is subject to change. You'll want to check the Kickstarter page in the description of this video to see all the final art and components. At the beginning of the game, each player is going to be able to draft a certain amount of heroes depending on the number of players and which game mode they're playing in. The first player will draft a hero, and then it will go in a serpentine draft style all the way until everyone has the right amount of heroes for the player count that you're playing with. There's plenty of heroes. Check the Kickstarter page for all the different art for those, but here's just a few that I'm showing off here. Now there's plenty of heroes to choose from, and here's a look at some of the ones that are included, and you're going to want to check the Kickstarter project page to see all of them. And as you can see, they all start with 9 health. Each of them have 3 different skills that they can unlock as the game goes on. You're going to be trying to do that before you get to the arena phase of the game, and they can hold different things. This person can hold a one-handed or two-handed weapon, some armor and a shield, and so on and so forth. Different heroes can hold different things. The game is set up into 2 halves. The first half of the game, you're in the preparation phase, where you'll go through 6 different turns or rounds of worker placement, placing your heroes out, gaining different benefits. You're going to be getting gold, trying to get different weapons. You're trying to equip yourself with different power cards and things like that that will help you in the second half of the game, because after these 6 rounds of worker placement's done, then you'll be going into the arena for the combat phase, trying to be the last one standing with heroes. The player that picked the first hero during the heroes phase has the initiative. They'll go first in this first turn of the worker placement rounds. Now that player is going to place one of their heroes on any one of the golden alignment locations on the board. There are 6 of them, and so they'll place that there first. So let's say they place here, and it is this hero here. Now you'll notice the hero has a certain alignment listed under the name, but the picture of that hero is also listed right here. This denotes that this specific hero, this is their alignment. They like the guardian side of things. And this is going to be important because over the course of the game, this is going to be going back and forth, and where this ends up at the end of the 6th turn or round of worker placement, and this is going to give people a great advantage in the arena later in the game. Now when you go to this gold spot here, first of all, you'll get to take this power card. This is going to help you when you start battling in the arena. Now, in addition to taking this power card, they're also going to be able to move this alignment marker over to this side. And they get to activate this, which is gaining 4 gold and gaining an initiative. The initiative token will be the first player if you hold it at the end of the round for the next worker placement round. Now you may notice this card has some different attributes there. The top is attack, the bottom is defense, and as this card's taken, only one of these cards is going to get taken from each stack each round at most, and they're in a specific order where it starts with a lot of attack and then it ends with a lot of defense. And so there's one card of these for each of the rounds that you'll be doing worker placement for. Since each player only places their first hero to the gold position, in a 2-player game there'd only be 2 heroes in these positions, in a 3-player game 3, and this is how it would look in a 4-player game, with 4 players having placed their first heroes there. With this player placed here, 2 heroes went here, so it's in the middle. And this one played over here, so the alignment has been moved to that side. The power cards have been taken, and the corresponding actions have also been taken. Now some of these other actions, if someone had gone here, you'd gain 4 gold and deal a damage. Whenever you deal damage to someone, it goes down by 1. If you ever get to 0, that hero is removed from the game and done. The Deceitful Quest allows you to steal 3 gold from a player. Righteous Quest allows you to gain 3 gold and gain a random item from this bag, which might be weapon, armor, or an artifact that we'll get into later. The Vengeful Quest allows you to gain 2 gold and steal one of the items at the market, which each round are randomly placed weapons, armor, and shields. And the Merciful Quest allows you to gain 3 gold and gain 2 mana. Now when gaining mana, it doesn't matter the color of the mana you gain, but you can place those onto here to unlock those skills on your hero. Now you don't even have to put them on both on the same hero. Regardless of the piece that you place during worker placement, you can split these up between the heroes that you have. Now, as I mentioned previously, there's one card for each round, and so the cards that were not taken, if there are any, get discarded to keep sure that there's always the same amount of cards and they're always at the same levels for each of the rounds. And so after everyone has placed their first hero in clockwise order, everyone will continue doing this until all their heroes are placed. In subsequent turns, you can place them in some of these, and what this will do is move the alignment marker in that direction, but you will not get the power card or the action here. And there's plenty of other spots you can go. You can go to the tavern, pay a gold, and you gain that initiative token. Again, whoever has it at the end of the round will go first in the next round of worker placement. At the Mage Tower, you could pay 3 gold and you'd gain one of those rituals. You actually get to take 6 of those, pick one of them, and shuffle the rest back in the deck. Now you only get one of these when you take that action, and you'll be using these during the battle phase in the arena, and they do certain things like gain a defense +1, or gain a total of 4 mana, or heal 2 health in the beginning of your turn, things like that. When you go to the Cathedral, you'll pay 2 gold, you can gain 2 mana as I showed you previously, and you can heal one of your heroes up 1. When you go to the market, you pay a gold, and you can take the item that you're over. And again, these are weapons and or armor that you can equip one of your heroes with. And so for example, this is a 2-handed weapon. You match the icon, you can put it here. This tells you how much damage it will do. You cannot have a 1-handed and a 2-handed though, so you'd have to either have 2 1-handeds in this case, or a 2-handed, or maybe you're going to match up this icon here, and this is armor. This tells you the type of damage it will either protect fully from or halfway from. If you go to the mercenary camp, you roll this cool looking 4-sided die and you'll get that much gold. When you go to the Thieves Guild, you'd pay 2 gold and you'd roll this skullduggery die, and then depending on what icon comes up, you'll take that specific action. Now after all the players have placed all their heroes in this clockwise order, you look at the most left artifact here. It's face down. This is our first sort of turn of worker placement. You'd flip this up and it would get bid on. So you'd flip it up like this, and everyone would bid on it. You do it secretly. Gold is tokens like this, and whoever has bid the most gold will get this. Now, whether you win or not, all the gold that you bid is paid to the supply. You lose it. And if there's a tie for the most, nobody gets it. This gets discarded back into the pouch. Everyone pays their gold and nobody gets it. And gold, as I'll show you in a little bit, is very important because it helps with your ranking going into the battle phase. So beginning the second turn of worker placement, whoever has that initiative token will go first, and you'll keep going clockwise, placing those heroes as I showed. At the end of the 6th turn, you'll then get ready to start ranking your heroes before you go into the battle phase. Now if the alignment markers are on your side of which heroes you have, you'll get a certain amount of gold, 10, 20, or 30, depending on where that is. After all those initiative tracks have paid out gold, players are going to begin allocating those gold to their heroes. Let's say these are my 2 heroes. Now at the end of that 6th turn of the worker placement rounds, someone's going to have that initiative token. The player just to the right of them, who would normally be last in turn order, is going to be the first one to allocate the gold as they see fit to their 2 heroes. And this will go counterclockwise, so that the player who ended that 6th turn with the initiative token gets to go last and see what everyone else has done. Then players will start placing their heroes in this different ranking order depending on how much gold they had, with the one that had the most gold is 1 and going downwards from there. Then starting with the first rank and going onwards, they'll be placing their heroes in one of these starting dots and making sure that their heroes are next to each other. And this ranking is also very important because it also breaks ties, which is very big in this section of the game. Now the combat phase can last up to 9 turns, and whoever's the last one standing with heroes is going to be the winner. And then starting with the first ranking hero and going down, each of them can take one of these 6 different actions. Now when looking at all these 6 actions, the first thing you could do in any one of them is move. It's optional, and you can move up to the amount of hexes as your speed. In this case, I can move up to 5 there. And you must also then discard a power card face down. Now remember, the power cards are the ones that you got during the first hero placement of each of the turns during the worker placement round, but you place them face down, and you do this so that they don't know which card you have just discarded. And even when you play these later on, as I'll show in just a moment, you'll be playing them, resolving them, putting them face down. So after you've played all but one of your cards, when you play your last one, you'll pick all these up and you'll play the last one like that. It keeps it hard to see which ones you still have in your hand. It keeps people guessing a little bit. So the second possible action is you can move. You can place a mana gem into one of your skills, as we showed you earlier. you discard a power card face down, but you'd have to take 1 damage. Another action you could take after moving is to use a blessing power face up. Now the blessing here says hero gains +1 defense, so you'd get this token here showing you that you have this ongoing bonus. Now all the other actions that use spells and powers and curses, they all revolve around combat, so let's talk a little bit more about that. Now any hero, regardless of the weapon type used, can attack any other hero 1 hex away from them. However, some heroes have ranged attacks. These are the ones that only have 2 slots on their boards, and they can attack up to 5 hexes away. As I start showing these miniatures more closely, remember these are just prototypes, and you'll want to check the Kickstarter project page to see what the finalized miniatures look like. So let's say this hero wanted to attack this one. So in the combat, both players are going to put a card face down and then they'll reveal at the same time. So this was the attacker, and it has an attack of 4. They have a defense of 2. Now when you're attacking, they might have had a artifact that would add to that attack value. You would add that to the 4. But in this case, we don't have that here. We have just 4 versus 2. And so now if it was tied, it would go towards the ranking, which means this hero would win. Again, the ranking is very important. So the difference was 2. So we have that 2 plus the damage that this weapon did, which was 4. So that's a total of 6 damage. However, this player has a half shield that combats this void, which is purple here. So it does half damage. So instead of doing 6, it actually does 3 damage, just like that. So the one that was defeated will be pushed back, and then that player can move into that space if they'd like to. Now spell cards are always used in combat, and they do different things, like the hero's hit, remove all blessings, or you can attack +1 if cast by the ancient druid hero, or heroes heal 4. And spells target 7 area hexes, but you can place this anywhere you want on the board with the spells, so you could hit multiple heroes, but you need to be careful because you can actually hurt your own heroes with friendly fire with this. Now there's curses as well that are used during combat, and they do things like the hero hit receives 1 damage at the end of their turn, or hero hit receives -1 defense, or the hero hit movement is set to 1. So these are things that are ongoing that happen if those affect you. Now one of the actions allows you to use the text of your skills, like lay on hands, heal 4 and remove all curses, or attack and ignore armor. And some do different types of attacks, like this one says it's a cone attack +1. And the cone will put out something that looks like this, and you can say where this attack is happening, but you gotta be careful because you can hit your own units with friendly fire with that. And some skills have a ring that you put around your hero, and it will hit all the heroes around you in those different hexes. And there's all sorts of different arena effects that can change the game as well. And in any round, if you have the last hero or heroes left, you win. Or at the end of the 9th round, if your hero is standing on the center tile, you win. But if neither of those win conditions happen, then no one wins. And there's different ways to play. Player versus player, you can play a normal game or a blitz game. It shows you how many heroes you play with during that. Or you can play a team versus team game. Well, there you have Theosis, and as I showed in the overview, it uses worker placement as the main mechanism for you to gather all the items that you need for the arena combat, where you're trying to eliminate all the other teams of heroes for your victory. So you basically have 6 rounds of the preparation phase, using that worker placement mechanism to build up all your heroes, and then you settle it in that arena with tactical combat. Now, if you'd like to see all of the final art and components and all the different pledge levels available, you can click the link below me in the description of this video. Now it will take you directly to the Kickstarter project page, and I'm sure the fine folks at Dreamcraft Games would love your support.